In a city where wealth and status reign supreme, Clara, a homeless woman with a heart full of dreams, stumbles into a lavish gala hosted by the enigmatic millionaire Alexander. Clad in a dress borrowed from a kind stranger, she feels like a fish out of water amidst the glittering elite. Yet, as she navigates the sea of opulence, Alexander's eyes are drawn to her, captivated by the strength and grace that shine through her struggles. Unbeknownst to them both, this serendipitous meeting will unravel their lives, forcing them to confront their beliefs about love, identity, and the true meaning of connection. Clara had always been a dreamer. Even as she sat on the cold pavement of downtown, wrapped in a tattered blanket, her mind wandered to places far beyond her current reality. She often imagined herself in beautiful gowns, attending lavish parties, and dancing under the stars. But reality was harsh and the streets were unforgiving. For the past year, Clara had been living in a shelter, struggling to make ends meet after losing her job and her home. The world around her was filled with people who seemed to glide effortlessly through life, while she felt trapped in a cycle of despair. Yet despite her circumstances, Clara held on to hope. She believed that one day, her life would change. That day arrived unexpectedly when she overheard a conversation at the shelter about a charity gala hosted by Alexander Sinclair, a wealthy entrepreneur known for his philanthropic efforts. The event promised to be extravagant, with guests from all walks of life, and Clara felt a spark of excitement. What if I could go, she thought, her heart racing at the possibility. She had nothing to wear, but the idea of attending the gala ignited a fire within her. Clara decided to take a leap of faith. She approached the shelter's coordinator, a kind woman named Ruth, and shared her desire to attend the event. Ruth smiled warmly. "I think that's a wonderful idea, Clara. Let's see what we can do to help you get ready." With Ruth's support, Clara was able to borrow a beautiful dress from a local charity that provided clothing for those in need. It was a simple yet elegant gown that hugged her figure perfectly. Clara spent hours preparing, doing her hair and makeup in the shelter's communal bathroom, transforming herself into someone who felt worthy of the occasion. As she stepped out of the shelter, Clara felt a mix of nerves and excitement. The night was alive with energy, and she could hear the distant music and laughter from the gala. She took a deep breath and made her way to the venue, her heart pounding in her chest. The grand ballroom was a sight to behold. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a warm glow over the elegantly dressed guests. Clara felt out of place, her heart racing as she stepped inside. She was surrounded by people in designer outfits, their laughter echoing off the marble floors. But as she walked further into the room, something unexpected happened. Alexander Sinclair, the host of the gala, caught sight of her. He was tall, with dark hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through her. Clara felt a jolt of electricity as their eyes met, and for a moment, the noise of the party faded away. Alexander was captivated. He had spent years building his empire, attending countless events. But there was something different about Clara. She exuded a raw authenticity that drew him in. He watched as she moved through the crowd, her grace and poise shining through despite her humble background. Clara felt a mix of emotions as she navigated the room. She was overwhelmed by the opulence around her, but she also felt a sense of determination. She was here to experience something beautiful, to remind herself that she was more than her circumstances. As the evening progressed, Clara found herself standing near the refreshment table, nervously sipping a glass of sparkling water. She overheard snippets of conversations about business deals and social status, but she remained an outsider, observing the world around her. Suddenly, Alexander approached her, his presence commanding, yet warm. "You look stunning," he said, his voice smooth and inviting. Clara's heart raced. "Thank you," she replied, her cheeks flushing. "I'm just here to enjoy the evening." "I'm glad you came," he said, his gaze lingering on her. "What's your name?" "Clara," she replied, feeling a sense of vulnerability wash over her. I'm just a guest." "Just a guest? I think you're much more than that," he said, a hint of intrigue in his voice. "What brings you to this event?" No, Clara hesitated, unsure of certainly. Here's the continuation of the story, focusing on the build-up, climax, resolution, reunion, new beginnings, conclusion, call to action, and outro. The right words to say. I wanted to experience something different, she finally admitted, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. I've been through a lot, and I thought this might be a chance to see a different side of life. Alexander's expression softened, and he nodded as if he understood. Life can be challenging, but it's also full of unexpected moments. I admire your courage to step out of your comfort zone. Clara felt a warmth spread through her at his words. Thank you. It's not easy, but I believe in finding beauty wherever I can. As they talked, Clara found herself opening up to Alexander in a way she hadn't expected. They discussed their dreams, their struggles, and the importance of kindness in a world that often felt cold. Clara was surprised by how easy it was to connect with him, and she could see a genuine interest in his eyes. Tell me more about yourself, Clara, Alexander urged, leaning in slightly. What do you love to do? I used to love painting, she said, her eyes lighting up. It was my escape. I haven't had the chance to do it in a while, but I still carry that passion with me. Art has a way of expressing what words sometimes can't, he replied thoughtfully. I'd love to see your work someday. Clara felt a rush of hope at his words. Maybe one day, she said, a smile creeping onto her face. As the night wore on, Clara and Alexander found themselves lost in conversation, oblivious to the bustling party around them. They shared laughter and stories, and Clara felt a connection growing between them. It was as if they were the only two people in the room. But as the clock ticked closer to midnight, Clara's reality began to creep back in. She glanced around at the opulence surrounding her, the expensive dresses, the laughter, the clinking of champagne glasses, and felt a pang of insecurity. She was just a homeless woman in borrowed clothes, and she didn't belong in this world. I should probably go, she said reluctantly, her heart heavy. I don't want to overstay my welcome. Wait, Alexander said, his voice firm yet gentle. I've enjoyed our conversation more than anything else tonight. Can I at least walk you to your car? Clara hesitated, unsure of how to respond. I don't have a car, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Then let me drive you, he offered without hesitation. I can't let you leave alone. Clara's heart raced at the thought. I appreciate the offer, but I don't want to impose. It's not an imposition. I insist, he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, Clara nodded. Okay, if you're sure. As they walked out of the venue together, Clara felt a rush of emotions. She was stepping into a world she had only dreamed of, and yet she was terrified of what it meant. Alexander opened the door to his sleek black car, and Clara slid into the passenger seat, her heart pounding. The drive was filled with comfortable silence, and Clara stole glances at Alexander, who seemed lost in thought. She couldn't help but wonder what he was thinking. Did he see her as just a charity case, or was there something more? When they arrived at the shelter, Clara felt a wave of vulnerability wash over her. Thank you for the ride, she said, her voice soft. Clara, I want to see you again, Alexander said, turning to face her. Can I have your number? Clara hesitated, her heart racing. I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not sure I fit into your world. Don't sell yourself short, he replied, his gaze steady. You're more than your circumstances. I see that in you. With a deep breath, Clara took out her phone and shared her number. Okay, but I'm not sure what this means. It means I want to get to know you better, he said, a smile breaking across his face. I'll call you soon. As she stepped out of the car, Clara felt a mix of hope and fear. She had taken a leap of faith, and now she was left wondering what would come next. The next few days passed in a blur. Clara found herself constantly checking her phone, her heart racing each time she heard a notification. She had never been one to get her hopes up, but something about Alexander felt different. He had seen her, truly seen her, and it ignited a spark of hope within her. Finally, on the fourth day after the gala, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Alexander. Hey, Clara. I hope you're doing well. I'd love to take you out for coffee this weekend. What do you think? Clara's heart soared. She quickly typed a response, her fingers trembling with excitement. I'd love that. How about Saturday at 10? Perfect. I'll pick you up, he replied. As Saturday approached, Clara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She wanted to look her best, but she also felt the weight of her circumstances pressing down on her. She rummaged through her meager belongings, trying to find something that would make her feel confident. On the morning of their coffee date, Clara chose a simple yet elegant outfit she had managed to keep clean. She spent extra time on her hair and makeup, wanting to present the best version of herself. As she looked in the mirror, she felt a flicker of the woman she used to be, the artist, the dreamer, the one who believed in love and beauty. When Alexander arrived, Clara's heart raced. He looked dashing in a tailored suit, his smile warm and inviting. You look amazing, he said, his eyes sparkling with genuine admiration. Thank you, Clara replied, feeling a blush creep onto her cheeks. You look great too. They drove to a quaint cafe, and as they settled into a cozy corner, Clara felt a sense of ease wash over her. They talked about everything, life, dreams, and their favorite books. Clara found herself laughing and sharing stories, feeling more at home than she had in a long time. I can't believe how easy it is to talk to you, Alexander said, leaning back in his chair. You have such a unique perspective on life. Clara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her. I've had to learn to find beauty in the little things. It's what keeps me going. As the conversation flowed, Clara felt a connection deepening between them. Alexander was not just a millionaire. He was kind, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in her life. She found herself opening up about her struggles, her dreams of painting again, and her desire to create a better future. I want to help people, she confessed, her voice filled with passion. I want to show others that there's hope, even in the darkest times. I believe you can do that, Alexander said, his gaze steady. You have a light in you that can inspire others. As the date continued, Clara felt a sense of belonging she hadn't experienced in a long time. But just as she was beginning to let her guard down, a familiar face entered the cafe, one of her old acquaintances from the shelter. Clara's heart sank as she realized the potential for judgment and misunderstanding. Clara, the woman called out, her voice filled with surprise. Is that you? Clara felt her cheeks flush with embarrassment. Hi, Sarah, she stammered, trying to maintain her composure. Wow, you look different, Sarah said, her tone laced with skepticism. What are you doing here? Clara's heart raced as she glanced at Alexander, who was watching the interaction with curiosity. I'm just having coffee with a friend, she replied, trying to sound casual. A friend? Sarah raised an eyebrow, clearly not buying it. Looks more like a date to me. Actually, it is, Alexander interjected, his voice calm and confident. I'm Alexander. Nice to meet you. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise, and Clara could see the wheels turning in her mind. Oh, I didn't realize, she said, her tone shifting. Well, good for you, Clara. As Sarah walked away, Clara felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. I'm sorry about that, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't expect to see anyone from the shelter. Don't apologize, Alexander said, his expression reassuring. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You're here, and that's what matters. Clara felt a mix of gratitude and vulnerability. It's just hard sometimes. I don't want people to see me differently because of my past. Your past doesn't define you, he replied, his gaze steady. It's a part of your story, but it doesn't dictate your future. As they continued their conversation, Clara felt a renewed sense of hope. Alexander's words resonated deeply, and she realized that she was beginning to see herself in a new light. As the coffee date came to an end, Clara felt a sense of clarity wash over her. She had spent so long hiding from her past, but Alexander's kindness and understanding encouraged her to embrace her journey. They walked out of the cafe together, the sun shining brightly, illuminating the path ahead. Can I see you again? Alexander asked, his eyes hopeful. Yes, I'd like that, Clara replied, her heart racing. I'd love to explore more of the city with you. Over the next few weeks, their connection deepened. They explored art galleries, attended local events, and shared their dreams and fears. Clara felt herself blossoming in Alexander's presence, and he encouraged her to pick up her paintbrush again. One afternoon, while they were walking through a park, Alexander surprised her with a small canvas and a set of paints. I thought you might want to create something, he said, a playful smile on his face. Clara's eyes widened in disbelief. You really want me to paint? Absolutely. I want to see the world through your eyes, he replied, his enthusiasm infectious. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, Clara set up her easel in the park. As she painted, she felt a sense of freedom wash over her. The colors flowed onto the canvas, and she lost herself in the process. Alexander watched her with admiration, his presence a comforting reminder that she was not alone. Your talent is incredible, he said, his voice filled with awe. You have a gift, Clara. I've missed this, she admitted, her heart swelling with joy. Painting used to be my escape, but I lost touch with it. Don't lose it again, he urged gently. You have so much to offer the world. As the weeks turned into months, Clara began to regain her confidence. She started attending local art classes and even showcased her work at a small gallery. Alexander was by her side every step of the way, cheering her on and celebrating her achievements. But just as things seemed to be falling into place, Clara received a call from the shelter. They informed her that they were closing down and that she would need to find a new place to stay. Panic set in as she realized the uncertainty of her situation. Clara, what's wrong? Alexander asked, noticing her distress. The shelter is closing and I don't know where I'll go, she said, her voice trembling. I can't go back to the streets. Let's figure this out together, he said, his tone firm. You don't have to face this alone. With Alexander's support, Clara began searching for new housing options. They visited various places, but nothing felt right. Clara's anxiety grew as she worried about losing the progress she had made. One evening, as they sat on a park bench, Clara opened up about her fears. What if I can't find a place? What if I end up back where I started? Clara, you are not the same person you were before, Alexander said, his voice steady. You've grown so much and you have the strength to overcome this. I just don't want to lose everything, she admitted, tears brimming in her eyes. You won't lose everything. You have me, and we'll find a solution, he reassured her, taking her hand in his. You're not alone in this. With renewed determination, Clara continued her search. After a few weeks, she found a small studio apartment that felt like a fresh start. It was modest, but it was hers. Alexander helped her move in, and as they unpacked, Clara felt a sense of hope blooming within her. This is just the beginning, Alexander said, his eyes shining with pride. You're building a life for yourself, and I'm so proud of you. Clara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her. I couldn't have done it without you. As Clara settled into her new apartment, she felt a sense of accomplishment. She had faced her fears and taken control of her life. With Alexander's unwavering support, she was ready to embrace the future. One evening, as they were enjoying dinner together, Clara received a message from Sarah, the woman from the cafe. Hey, Clara, I heard about your art showcase. I'd love to catch up and see your work. Clara felt a mix of emotions. She hadn't spoken to Sarah since their awkward encounter at the cafe, but she also felt a sense of curiosity. Should I invite her over? She asked Alexander. Absolutely. It could be a great opportunity to reconnect, he encouraged. Clara sent a message back, inviting Sarah to her apartment the following weekend. As the day approached, Clara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She wanted to show Sarah how much she had changed, but she also worried about how their conversation would unfold. When Sarah arrived, Clara greeted her with a warm smile. It's so good to see you, she said, inviting her inside. Wow, Clara, this place is amazing, Sarah exclaimed, looking around the modest but cozy studio. I can't believe how far you've come. Thank you. I've been working hard to get back on my feet, Clara replied, feeling a sense of pride swell within her. As they settled down with cups of tea, Clara felt the tension begin to ease. They talked about their lives, and Clara shared her journey of finding a new apartment and rediscovering her passion for art. Sarah listened intently, her expression shifting from surprise to admiration. "I'm really proud of you," Sarah said sincerely. "I didn't know you were doing so well. It's inspiring to see how you've turned your life around." Clara felt a warmth in her chest. "Thank you. It hasn't been easy, but I've learned to embrace the challenges." As the conversation flowed, Clara felt a sense of connection rekindling between them. They reminisced about their time at the shelter, sharing stories and laughter. Clara realized that Sarah had also been working on her own journey, trying to find stability after facing her own struggles. "I've been trying to get back on my feet too," Sarah admitted. "It's been tough, but I'm determined to make it work." Clara smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie. "We're both on our own paths, but it's nice to know we're not alone." As the evening progressed, Clara felt a sense of closure. She had worried about how Sarah would perceive her, but instead, they found common ground and support in each other's journeys. Before Sarah left, she looked at Clara with sincerity. "I'd love to come to your next art showcase. I want to support you." "I'd love that," Clara replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you for being here." As Sarah left, Clara felt a renewed sense of hope. She had not only reconnected with an old friend, but had also reaffirmed her own growth. With each passing day, Clara continued to thrive in her new apartment. She decorated the walls with her artwork, creating a space that felt like home. Alexander remained a constant source of support, encouraging her to pursue her passion for painting and helping her navigate the challenges of adulthood. One day, as they were walking through the city, Clara spotted a community art fair happening in the park. "I should apply to showcase my work there," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Absolutely, you should go for it," Alexander encouraged, his enthusiasm infectious. "I'll help you with the application." With Alexander's support, Clara submitted her application and prepared for the event. She spent hours creating new pieces, pouring her heart and soul into each stroke of the brush. The art fair became a symbol of her new beginning, a chance to share her story and connect with others through her art. On the day of the fair, Clara set up her booth, her heart racing with anticipation. As people began to arrive, she felt a mix of nerves and excitement. She watched as families strolled by, admiring the various artworks on display. When the fair officially opened, Clara found herself engaging with visitors, sharing the stories behind her paintings. She felt a sense of pride as people responded positively to her work, and she realized that her art had the power to resonate with others. "Your pieces are beautiful," one woman said, her eyes shining with appreciation. "You have a real talent." "Thank you, I've poured my heart into them," Clara replied, feeling a rush of joy. As the day went on, Clara sold several pieces and received inquiries about future commissions. She felt a sense of validation that she hadn't experienced in a long time. When Alexander arrived to support her, Clara's heart swelled with happiness. "Look at this! I've sold 3 pieces already," she exclaimed, her excitement palpable. "I knew you could do it," he said, beaming with pride. "You're an incredible artist, Clara." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Clara felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She had taken a leap of faith, and it had paid off. This was just the beginning of her journey, and she was ready to embrace whatever came next. As Clara continued to grow as an artist, her relationship with Alexander deepened. Their bond had blossomed into something beautiful, built on mutual respect, understanding, and love. They spent countless evenings together, sharing dreams and aspirations, and supporting each other through life's challenges. Clara felt a sense of security with Alexander that she had never experienced before. One evening, as they sat on the couch in her apartment, Clara looked at Alexander, her heart full. "I can't believe how much has changed in such a short time. I feel like I'm finally becoming the person I was meant to be." Alexander smiled, his eyes warm. "You've worked hard for this, Clara. You've shown incredible strength and resilience. I'm so proud of you." Clara felt a rush of emotion at his words. "I couldn't have done it without you. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." "Always," he replied, taking her hand in his. "You deserve all the happiness in the world." As they sat together, Clara realized that she had found not only a partner, but a true companion who understood her journey. They had both faced their struggles, but together, they were building a life filled with love, creativity, and hope. Months passed, and Clara's art continued to gain recognition. She was invited to showcase her work at various galleries, and her confidence grew with each opportunity. Alexander was by her side, cheering her on and celebrating her successes. One day, as they walked through the city, Clara spotted a beautiful gallery with a call for artists sign in the window. "I should apply for this," she said, her heart racing with excitement. "Absolutely. You have to go for it," Alexander encouraged, his eyes shining with pride. With his support, Clara submitted her application and was thrilled when she received an invitation to showcase her work. The opening night was a dream come true, and as she stood in the gallery surrounded by her paintings, she felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. As the evening progressed, Clara noticed a familiar face in the crowd. Sarah had come to support her. Clara felt a rush of gratitude as they embraced. "I'm so proud of you, Clara. Your work is incredible," Sarah said, her eyes shining with admiration. "Thank you. It means so much to have you here," Clara replied, feeling a sense of connection rekindling between them. As the night continued, Clara felt a sense of belonging she had longed for. She had transformed her struggles into art, and now she was sharing her story with the world. In that moment, surrounded by friends, supporters, and the love of her life, Clara realized that she had not only found her passion, but had also created a life filled with purpose and joy. As Clara's journey continued, she felt a strong desire to give back to the community that had supported her. She wanted to help others who were facing similar struggles, to show them that there is always hope, even in the darkest times. One day, while brainstorming ideas with Alexander, she said, "What if we started a program that provides art classes for those in need? I want to help others find their voice through art, just like I did." "That's a fantastic idea," Alexander replied, his eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. "We can partner with local shelters and community centers to offer free classes. It could make a real difference." With renewed determination, Clara began to outline her vision. She reached out to local organizations, sharing her story and her desire to create a program that would empower others through art. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and soon Clara found herself organizing her first art class. On the day of the class, Clara felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She arrived at the community center, her heart racing as she set up the supplies. When the participants began to arrive, she greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here," Clara said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "Today we're going to explore our creativity and express ourselves through art." As the class began, Clara guided the participants through various techniques, encouraging them to let go of their inhibitions and embrace their creativity. She shared her own journey, emphasizing the importance of self-expression and the healing power of art. Throughout the session, Clara watched as the participants began to open up, their laughter and joy filling the room. She felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed their transformation, just as she had experienced in her own life. After the class, one participant approached Clara, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for this. I've been struggling for so long, and this was the first time I felt free to express myself." Clara's heart swelled with emotion. "You're not alone. Art has a way of healing, and I'm so glad you found joy in it today. Remember, you can always come back and create more." As the weeks turned into months, Clara's art classes became a regular event at the community center. Each session was filled with laughter, creativity, and a sense of camaraderie among the participants. Clara felt a deep sense of purpose as she watched others discover their own voices through art. Word spread about the program, and soon Clara was receiving requests from other shelters and organizations to host classes. With Alexander's support, she expanded the initiative, creating a network of art classes that reached those in need across the city. "Clara, you're making a real impact," Alexander said one evening as they reviewed the growing list of classes. "This is incredible. I couldn't have done it without you." Clara replied, her heart full. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and now I want to pay it forward. As the program flourished, Clara also began to showcase the artwork created by her students in local galleries. She wanted to give them a platform to share their stories and talents with the world. The first exhibition was a resounding success, and Clara felt a sense of pride as she watched her students shine. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, one of her students said, tears of joy in her eyes. I never thought I could be an artist. You are an artist, Clara replied, her voice filled with conviction. Your story matters and your art deserves to be seen. The exhibition not only showcased the students' work, but also raised funds for the community center, allowing them to continue offering free classes. Clara felt a sense of fulfillment that she had never experienced before. She was not only pursuing her passion, but also helping others find theirs. As the program continued to grow, Clara and Alexander began to discuss the possibility of creating a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting artists from underserved communities. They envisioned a space where individuals could come together to create, learn, and heal through art. We can make a real difference, Alexander said, his eyes shining with excitement. Let's do this together. With their combined efforts, Clara and Alexander launched the nonprofit, and the response was overwhelming. They received support from local businesses, artists, and community members who believed in their mission. Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose as they worked together to create a safe haven for aspiring artists. As Clara stood in front of her students, watching them create and express themselves, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. She had transformed her struggles into a source of strength, and now she was helping others do the same. With Alexander by her side, she knew that together they could continue to inspire hope and creativity in their community. Their love story had blossomed into a shared mission, proving that even in the face of adversity, beauty and resilience could thrive. Clara had found her voice, and now she was empowering others to find theirs. Disclaimer: this story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. The themes and characters are created to inspire compassion and understanding toward those facing challenges in life. If you or someone you know is struggling, please seek professional help. Remember, it's okay to ask for support, and you are not alone in your journey.